I read a lot of books this year. I don't even want to think about how much all of them cost. I'm literally camped out in my kitchen because that's where they all sit, in one place, so that I can show them to you guys. I did have a reading journal that I kept this year, and I ran out of space in it. Like, I even printed out like a bunch of covers, but I ran out of space. So that's how much I read. I read 137 books this year, I think. Might have miscounted. I don't have every single one as a physical copy, but I do have a lot of them as a physical copy. Hi, Alice. Hi. I know, yes. You gotta sit. You gotta sit like a good girl. And I'm gonna go through them chronologically. My dog is running around, so if you can hear her little feet. So the first book that I read in 2024 was Hunt on Dark Waters. Then Twisted, Crossed. Almost called it Hooked for a second there. I was thinking of book 1. Then I read book 3 of the Blood Heir trilogy, Crimson Rain. Very good. Then I read book 2 of the Wicked Academia series, and unfortunately the authors of this series are discontinuing. She's eating dinner now. Lovely. Bella, can you give mommy a minute? Can you give mama a minute? So this is book 2, and book 3 was announced as Frozen Blood, but unfortunately they discontinued the series. I'm very, very sad. I need to find myself a good fanfic writer who can finish it for me. Then I read No Ivy League, which was a graphic novel. I just don't have the physical book. Then, of course, I had started rereading the Percy Jackson series, and I had the last book left, The Last Olympian, or the original 5 Percy Jacksons. Then I read Dark Succession. Then I read another graphic novel, Little Witch, Magic in Concord. I don't have the book anymore. I did have a book. I did have a physical copy, and then I got rid of it. Not because it was bad, it was a good book. I gave it away to a friend. And then I also read Archival Quality, which was another graphic novel, which I also gave away. So I no longer have that one. I read Midnight Ruin by Katie Robert, which is the Dark Olympus series. You're gonna start to notice that I have quite a few authors that I read quite a lot of. I have little cards for the books that I don't have the physical copies of. I read another graphic novel. I read quite a lot of graphic novels in the beginning of the year. The Wizard and the Potion of Dreams. Gave that one away as well. I think I gave away most of my graphic novels. Then I read Sold, which is one of Willow Winter's discrete books. I read Cinder. I enjoyed it. It was good. I read another one of Willow Winter's discrete books. This one is His Hostage. Then the first arc of the year, I read How to Marry a Lich by Lizzie Strong. This was the first arc I had ever read for her, and later on I did end up getting a physical book, which is this one, but I did very good gothic monster romance. Amazing. I read Rise of the School for Good and Evil. Marked, which I actually had never heard of, but it was in that same like era of books as Cinder, so I had picked it up because it was that kind of same like popular at the same time, I guess. And then I read book 2 of, oh, I guess just the sequel, but it's The Queen's Secret, which is the sequel to The Queen's Assassin. Very good, very good. Then I read Daughter of No Worlds by Clarissa Broadbent, the War of Lost Hearts series. Absolutely amazing. Then I read Unravel Me, which is technically book 3 in a series of interconnected standalones, and I didn't realize. Luckily, it wasn't it's an interconnected standalone series and not like a series. I mean, not that I could read it and not be utterly confused. I was a little confused, but I'd not be utterly confused. Very good hockey romance. You'll see that I'll go through like phases of things. So this was the starting of the sports romance. Then I read All the Stars and Teeth. Very good. To be honest, all the books are very good. I ended up just DNFing anything I wasn't enjoying. The first poetry book, Healing for No One But Me. Very good. I love a poetry book. I love a poetry book. Then I read First Light Wins. I don't remember where I picked this particular book up, but it was very good. I'm not hugely into the mystery thriller genre, and that was actually pretty good. I read the 4th book in the Hades and Persephone series by Scarlett St. Clair, Touch of Chaos. Very, very good. No, Bella, leave. Then I read the first book in the what is this series even called? I can't remember what it's called, but this is the first book. This is book 1 in that interconnected standalone series. It's by Becca Mack, hockey romance. Then I read an audiobook called Cut. It's one I had read in high school. It was high school. I don't own the physical copy. And then I have Love, Volume 2 by Atticus, which is one of my favorite poets of all times. I think I have all of Atticus's books. I'm very excited for that one. I actually found Atticus right after they published Love Volume 1. Or it was like a week, literally like a week before that one published, so I was very excited. Then we have book 2 of the, I think it's the Playing for Keeps series, but I'm not sure. No, it's not the Playing for Keeps series. Whatever, this series is called. Play With Me, book 2, standalone interconnected series, hockey players, very fun. And then I read the audiobook of Legends and Lattes. Very good, very worth it. I just realized how shiny my forehead is. It's a high beam up there. Anyways, then I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which is it was my first Ali Hazelwood book. Very good. Then we've got book number 2 of the Lunar Chronicles, Scarlet. Then I read Reserved by Bridget L. Rose. This is the first time I read for her. And again, I ended up getting this special edition copy later on, but I did read Reserved. Oh, absolutely loved it. Nevaeh and Adrian, stunning. Stunning, 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 stunning. So this was about, I want to say around a little bit before, it was around April, because I know I did a massive book haul for my birthday, and then I remember reading a bunch of those books from that book haul, and these were some of the books from the book haul that I read. So this was around April. I read Lore of the Wild. Very good, very good. I read Where the Dark Stands Still, also very good, very good. We have Fate, Ink, and Blood, and I'm so excited for book 2. I cannot wait, I cannot wait, I cannot wait. Ow, ow. That hurt. They could be weapons. Ugh. Anyways, and then I read Divine Rivals. Then I read Icebreaker, again, more sports romance. Then Canadian Boyfriend, which is another sports romance. There's actually another hockey romance, a lot of hockey romance. To be fair, I am Canadian, so hockey romance makes sense. Not that I watch hockey, but we're not gonna talk about that. Then I read The Dark One, which is book 2 in the Lost Voice series. Very good. Then we have, I read the audiobook for Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is book 2 to the Legends, it's one of the Legends and it's by the same author as Legends and Lattes. There we go, the words came out in the right order once. And then I read Sinner, which is book 2 of the Priest series by Sierra Simone. Very good. Very good. Vegetable oil. All I'm saying, vegetable oil. I found a random card. I don't know where this one's from, but I did have the audiobook for The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I read some point this year, and I apparently misplaced where in the stack I read it, so we're getting it now. Then I read The Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which is very good. I read Collide, another sports romance. What a surprise. So then I had another ARC read for Haley Blackwood, who is an indie author that I had found. So I read her debut book of Love Letters from Thirst Tonics. It's very, very, very good. I recently found out that she made a huge jump in her publishing career and is now a full-time author, which is absolutely fantastic for her. Her books are so worth it. They are small town. My dog is drinking water. She a hydrated queen. It's a small town fantasy romance. She just did the thing where she spins and chases her tail. It's very cute and very distracting. Anyways, but that was the first in the series. It's very good. It's about 2 vampires. Stunning. I then read The Honey Witch. Very, very good. Which, by the way, just saying, I called it. I had an idea. I was like, oh, what if this person is this other person? And about halfway through, and it was. I'm not gonna give spoilers, but it was. What are you chewing on? And then I read Tethered, which I had got as a gift. Then I had another ARC. It was Burning Air, very good. It was first book in a series. I am keeping my eye out for book 2. It's an academy thing. It's about an academy school where instead of inheriting the leadership positions, they have to go to the academy and earn leadership positions. Very good. Then we had my second Ali Hazelwood book of Not in Love. Stunning. Then I read The Dixon Rule, which I believe is technically the second book, because I think the first book is The Graham Effect, but I read The Dixon Rule. And at the time, I was very upset that a dancing cheerleader had a thicker book than a STEM person, and that was before I got to like part of the book that got cut. If you've read it, you understand. But then it was like, actually wait, no, both very beautifully strong women in different ways. Then I read The Secret in the Old Attic, Nancy Drew book. I read Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This was the first Elsie Silver book I read. Then I read another one of Lizzie Strong's books. I ARC read it, Cloak and Dagger Burlesque. Absolutely amazing. Also, all of the books that I don't actually currently own, I will be I plan on getting them when I can. Then I ARC read the first book that I read by E.C. Garrett. I read the Here There Be Monsters, which is the Republica of Halavatorum book 1. And then of course I had to pick up a physical copy. Oh, this book is top 5 all-time read. All-time read top 5. And I don't like narrowing things down like that. Definitely, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Everybody needs that book in their life. And then I read Blood on the Tide, which is book 2 to Hunt on Dark Waters by Katie Robert. I then read Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. Very, very good, very good. And then I read Tormented, which is book 2 to Tethered. And I'm just realizing I've been sitting and chatting for 20 minutes and I'm like maybe halfway through the books. So I'll speed things up a little. I read Unordinary Volume 2, very good. I read Body Check, Sports Romance, very good. I'm just gonna stop saying very good because all the books are very good. Finding Mr. Right, which is about an author and her publishing journey, and it's set in Alaska. Or is it Canada? No, it's Alaska. No, it's in Canada. It's in the Yukon. Then I read Twisted Love, which I believe is my first Anna Huang book. I read another of the Nancy Drew books, The Clue in the Crumbling Wall. Then I read the If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Huang with the sprayed edges. I don't know if she does them without the sprayed edges. And then If the Sun Never Set by Anna Huang. And then also If Love Had a Price by Anna Huang. Then I read A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver. Then I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, and I'm not going to comment on it. Let's just say that's the only Colleen Hoover book I have ever actually finished. All of the other ones I have tried, I DNF'd. Probably should have DNF'd that one. Then I read The Daughter in the Deep, which is a book that follows girl. It's like a YA retelling, not retelling, it's like a, they find, it's like, not 20 Leagues Under the Sea, whatever, the one with the Captain Nemo and his magic sub, that one. It follows that, she finds the sub. Anyways, and then I read If We Were Perfect by Anna Huang. The fourth book in the interconnected standalone hockey series, Fall With Me. Very good. More hockey romance. I then read The Last Fallen Star. I finally finished All He'll Ever Be. It literally took me 6 months to read this book. Technically it's 4 books, but 6 months. To the day. I checked. It was to the day. Then I read Malice, which I actually have a autographed copy. Very good, very good. Can't wait to get my hands on book 2. I read At First Bite. I then read Daydream, which is in the same series as Icebreaker. They are interconnected standalones. I have not read book 2. This is book 3. I have not read book 2. Oops, I do this a lot. I somehow manage to do this a lot with the Interconnected Standalone series. I read them out of order. Very good. I then read Fable. Oh. Oops, I missed one of my cards. I got all excited and threw the card by accident. But it is another Lizzie Strong book. It's Jock Straps and Newspapers. Very, very good himbo. Like, beautiful himbo. And then I also read another one of her arcs, like, literally the next month. If last it was a couple of weeks, Gotten by the Gator. Also very, very good. Very, very good. Very good. Then I read 12 Angry Men, which was painful to read. I read The Demon's Bargain by Katie Robert. I read the first book in the Baudelaire, a series of unfortunate events by the Baudelaire children, The Bad Beginning. Sorry, that's my cat. I then read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, and I managed to grab one of the ones that came with art card. This is my cat. Leave the kitty. Leave the kitty. I then read To Be Claimed, Book 6 by Willow Winters. It's Under His Reign. It's the dragon one. I then read Dark Restraint by Katie Robert. It's the Dark Olympus series. This is where I joined Threads. This is where I joined Threads and found an amazing amount of arcs. So, ready for a big list of arcs. So I read One Hollow Love as an arc. That was really good. I read The Fate Date as an arc. I read One Dark Window as an audiobook. Oh my god, that series. I need to read book 2 soon. My cats got into the catnip. I was wondering what was going on. They pulled the catnip out of the drawer and dumped it on the floor, and apparently ate all of it. Okay then. And then I also read an arc called Roadside Attractions, which is set as a road trip across BC. I was born in BC, and it was such amazing to see a road trip through BC accurately depicted, which was amazing. Then I read Stay. Oh, this was so good. So good. All right, more arcs. I read Worth the Fall, which is the first in the Sugarland. It's not Sugarland, but it's first in a trilogy. Very good. Actually, book 2 just came out, so I have to go get my hands on that. I read Rekindling the Flame. Very good second chance romance book. Oh. And then I read Breaking Away, which is a hockey romance. More hockey romance for the win. And then I read Howl, which is a small town supernatural romance. The author for Howl just announced book 2, which is Hunt, and I cannot wait. Then I read Truly, Madly, Deeply by L.J. Shen. Oh my god, this book was so good. Holy, I need to get my hands on book 2 right away. Hey, stop. Sorry, cats on their catnip are doing cat things. Then I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe and The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I love this series, by the way. I want them all like now. Then I read Katie Roberts' Illicit Temptations, which technically I believe it's 2 short stories combined into one. It's 2 of her short stories. Dexter! Sorry, my cat has his claws in my dog. They're playing. Alright, more arcs. So I read Cauldrons and Cattails, which is book 2 to Love Letters and Thirst Tonics. Absolutely amazing series. You have to go check that out. And then I started reading the oh god, what is it called? It's not, is it the Chestnut Spring series? It's one of the Elsie Silver series, which I only recently put it together, that they're all like kind of interconnected, that like Violet in one of the series is the Violet, which is the sibling. It took me a minute, and that Willa and was the sister, and oh my god, it was. Anyways, so I read Flawless on the audiobook, and then I read a arc for A Goddess of Spring and Shadow, which is book 1 in the series, and it ended on a cliffhanger. It ended on a cliffhanger. I can't wait for book 2. And then I read Heated Rivals by Katie Robert. And then we got a big boy here. I read The Striker by Anna Huang. That was such a good book. Oh my god. Also, look, so pretty. Cannot wait for The Defender. Then I read Holding the Reins. This is where, well, obviously it started with the Elsie Silver books, but I'm starting to move from sports romance to small town cowboy romance. All right, and then I read Bewitched, which is book 2 in an interconnected standalone series. I then read the arc for Who Invited the Demon to Tea, and all I have to say is I need a Gotha. I need a Gotha. And then I read an arc called Lemon Cake. It's the first book in the Naughty Desserts series. Absolutely amazing. The female main character is an amputee. Then I read the first book in the Artemis Fowl series. I had planned on rereading the entire series, but I kind of abandoned that. Then I read A Jingle Bell Mingle. Very good, very good. It's book 3 though. I need to go find book 1 and 2. Then I read book 2 of the Naughty Dessert series, which is Strawberry Cake. That was also an arc read. Leave him. My dog is trying to play with my cat, and my cat is not having it. So then I read an arc of Fumbled into Love. Very good. I then read the arc, no, stop. I then read the arc for Diffused, which is by Bridget L. Rose, and it's book 2 to Reserved, which I had read. Oh, amazing. It was a little more unhinged than I thought it was gonna be. It was so good. Oh, so good. Then I read the audiobook for Heartless. Then I read Hexed. Oh my gosh, it's so good, so good. I need to stop saying all the books are so good. They are all so good. I then read Apple Dipped in Gold, which, can we all say it together? It's book 2. Yeah. Then I read The Christmas Tree Farm. And then I read Front Runner by Elsie Silver. Then I read Wolf Girl. I then read an arc for The Temptations of the Past. I then read the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles. What in the world are they doing? My cats are causing chaos. Which is book 3 in the Lunar Chronicles. I then read an arc for The Only Time, which is a small town romance. I then read The Holiday Honeymoon Switch. Very cute. I then read the audiobook of Powerless. I then read another poetry book. This is The Disease Called Poetry. This is a new author for me, and I can't wait to grab some more of her other poetry books. I then read The Off-Limit Rule. And then I read All the Tides of Fate, which is book 2 to All the Stars and Teeth. I then read The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, which this is one of the books that I read in middle school when I got into reading. When I got into reading, this is one of the books that got me into reading, and I love this book so much. Then I read Sky House, which is a poetry book I found this at a little free library local to me, and I didn't realize until after I had read them that it was signed. Then I read a cowboy small town romance. For an arc, it was Cowboy Take Me Home. And then I read another arc called Vintage. Oh, that was a roller coaster and a half. That was a roller coaster and a half. And then I finished, or I read A Light in the Flame, which is a Flesh and Fire novel by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the second series to the From Blood and Ash series. I read Married to a Pirate, very good. I read A False Start by Elsie Silver. I read Frigid by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and then Scorched by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This one was very cute. I love this, it was very good. Kind of a little creepy, because they have a stalker. This one was really, like, I think it might have just hit a little too close to home for me, but check the trigger warnings on that one. I then read Lost and Lassoed, which is book 3. Have I read book 1 and 2? Absolutely not. And then, last but not least, I read Mary in Moonvale, which is the Christmas novella. It's book 2.5 in the series by the Love Letters and Thirst Tonic and the Cauldron of Cat's Tales. That series, it's book 2.5, which is a Christmas novella, and it's absolutely amazing. I cannot wait for book 3. And that is everything I read this year, and now I am tired and exhausted and apparently have to go check on my cats. What did you guys read this year? Comment down your favorite book you read this year, or favorite couple.